Folks, welcome back. We've done it. We're here. We've reached complete mania phase in this market. If you haven't been paying attention, quietly under all of our noses, XY boxes have went completely parabolic. What I'm talking about is boxes like Primal Clash, boxes like Ancient Origins. Heck, if you look at the 365-day chart for even things like Fates Collide or XY base set, it's kind of bananas. And I, along with others, usually stick to the thought process of, hey, once boxes reach a certain price point, it probably makes sense to move out of them, move into a newer set, because you have a better chance of doubling your money or performing better in the same amount of time than you do some of these boxes that have already hit $500 to $1,000 plus. And this year, that has proven 100% false. That's where we're at, guys. Primal Clash. It is now seeing auction sales ending near $1,000, baby. $1,000. This was a $500 box 365 days ago. A 100% return is now being realized on XY Primal Clash. One of the boxes that saw the heaviest reprint in all of XY era. A box that sat in the 70s for an extended period of time. A box that took a long time just to get its way back to $100. Now, just 5-6 years later after that reprint, it's going for $1,000. Go figure. Ancient Origins, which in my opinion is one of the best sets in XY era, so nothing against the set in general, but Ancient Origins has had a couple auction sales. One was at $1,400, the other was at $1,800. $1,800. That was a $900 box a year ago. We're talking about 100% returns. That's where we're at, guys. Fates Collide, a little more than a year ago, about a year and a half ago, that box was in the 300s, and now it's selling in the 600s, and so on and so forth. We talked about XY base before. That was under $1,000. Now it's having auctions between $1,300 and $1,500, which is a 50% gain, and everything else in the spectrum. And the scary part is, this isn't like a Scarlet Violet set like 151 or Twilight Masquerade or Surging Sparks being ran up, right? Because those are still well within their reprint windows. Pokemon will likely reprint those sets and drop the price for everyone to have another chance to get in, or at least people to have the opportunity to open them at a reasonable price. XY is so far past anything like that ever happening. And also, XY is much more scarce and was much shorter printed, with the exception of Evolutions, than any of the sets in Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and definitely Scarlet and Violet. Meaning, it's unlikely we will see significant price drops from these prices we're seeing on XY. Now, obviously, prices could always come down if the market dips and you know, people need to liquidate their supply, or they need to raise cash and they just throw them at auction. Those are times, you know, if there's less demand, that you could see prices start to end lower at auction. However, if you look back at the black and white era just before XY, a lot of those boxes are in the thousands. Okay, all of them are. And it's not much different from the XY era. Now, the later XY era was definitely printed a bit more than black and white, but the early XY era really wasn't. And it just seems like it's inevitable for XY to follow suit with black and white, and probably going to see most all of those boxes in the thousands in the next 1, 2, 3 years, in my opinion. Steam Siege may be the last one to kind of be sluggish and get there ever, but the other ones are all on their way, guys. Evolutions is getting in the high 800s. You know, you have Breakpoint and Breakthrough pushing the 800s, 7 and 800s. You know, obviously Flashfire's $3,000 box. You have Phantom Forces having sales at $2,500, which again is like a 20+% gain there this year. You know, and so on and so forth. Everything is moving up, but some of these are just seeing wacky price points. And I would normally write it off as, oh, this is being, you know, manipulated. This is really being bought out. There's a play being made here. But with the amount of these things being ripped for mystery boxes, for mystery packs, for, you know, just streamers in general, I've even ripped some of these boxes on my stream, right? I got the empty boxes right here to prove it. I mean, here's one right here. There you go. Primal Clash. We ripped on the stream, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months ago. And so I'm even adding to it. And the more this happens, the more I continue to expect the prices to rise. At the same time, if you're a collector like myself, I also think it's dangerous. I also think it's dangerous to buy a Primal Clash box at $1,000. I think it's dangerous to buy an Ancient Origins box at $1,800. Or, you know, a Phantom Forces box at $2,500. Especially when I scroll through and look at all the sales, and all the recent sales from all the Phantom Forces boxes are all at $2,500, and they're all the same seller, just with different pictures and different locations, which, you know, screams a little bit of, you know, something weird going on, but I'm not going to say it. It just looks fishy. And so it's getting to that point where if you are looking to pick up these boxes, you may want to just hold off a little bit and see if we do get some kind of correction, because although they are scarce, although they are getting very old, they're all 7 to 10 years old at this point, although some of the prices do make sense, some of them do seem a little overinflated, and they may have got ran up a little too much. Maybe some people have got a little over exuberant with their auction bids. Maybe they did or didn't get paid. I'm not 100% sure on that. But, you know, from looking at the bidders, it does look like the legitimate people were bidding on them. But, yeah, these are strange times we're getting into, guys. You know, we're starting to see it leak over into Sun and Moon. It hasn't been as drastic in Sun and Moon, though. But to give you, paint a picture for you, right here. Forbidden Light. Other than Crimson Invasion, maybe Sun and Moon base, this is one of the weakest sets, guys, in all of Sun and Moon. It's a $500 box. It was released, what do we got here? Released in 2018? 2018. 6 years ago. In 6 years, that box went from $90 to $500 plus. I believe the last sale was $525. For one of the weakest sets in the entire era. I mean, if that can do that, I'm scared to see what Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze battle styles are going to do, right? Sword and Shield, believe it or not, has continued to be the best performer this year so far. I know it doesn't seem that way because things have cooled off, but you have to remember where we were at 365 days ago, where we were at in January, and I just looked at the numbers, guys. Sword and Shield is still outperforming as a whole XY, Sun and Moon, and Scarlet and Violet. Especially with the recent rises of Fusion, Chilling, Evolving Skies, Lost Origin, Sword and Shield base, all that good stuff. And so, you know, you may not like to hear that. You may think Sword and Shield's been dead, it's been stagnant, there's not a lot going on, I've been holding this stuff forever, but it's starting to move also right under your nose, right? I didn't think so either, but Brilliant Stars is now pushing $200 a box. Astral Radiance is now moving up into the 180 mark, right? Silver Tempest is still lagging a bit. Battle Styles is still lagging a bit. However, all of these alt-art sets besides Silver Tempest and Battle Styles are all moving and making dramatic moves. I mean, 10, 20% plus moves. And so, tells me the love is starting to pour back to Sword and Shield. As more of these Scarlet Violet products come out and the hype is so high and they get out of reach, people, I believe, are going to start looking back and saying, well, hell, if, you know, Twilight Masquerade's 170 and Surging Spark runs to, you know, 170 or 200, and they're looking back and saying, well, I could just buy, you know, Brilliant Stars for that price. I could buy Astral Radiance. I could buy Silver Tempest for that price. I could pay a few bucks more and get a Lost Origin, you know, Fusion Strike, Chilling Ring box. I don't know, right? Maybe instead of getting a case of Surging Sparks right now, I could just put that money in a box of Evolving Skies, the best set we've seen in modern times, next to maybe Cosmic Eclipse and Team Up. And so there's a lot of different avenues you can go right now, guys. But although I have made videos saying I do think XY and Sun and Moon are going to continue to do well, I think they're much more scarce. I think they're getting ripped at will on streams and for mystery packs and mystery boxes. I would still be careful when you see intense moves like that. 150%, stuff like that. I would slow your roll on those. Now, the boxes that have moved up 10, 20% or something like that, normal price moves, you know, if you want to buy into that set, that's probably going to be the new market price. You know, I mean, I think, you know, things like, I know, Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, yeah, they're probably going to be $700, $800 boxes. That's just where they're going to be. I doubt they're going to fall very much, right? You know, Breakpoint, Breakthrough, Fate to Collide, yeah, they probably were undervalued. Then they're $600, $700, $800 boxes now. That's probably where they're going to stay. I doubt they're going to fall very much. But, you know, Ancient Origins, seeing one major auction sale at $1,800, another one was at $1,400. You know, some crazy stuff's going on there, right? When we see things like, you know, Primal Clash, $1,000 booster box, $1,000? Start to get a little fishy there. Like, some of these moves are just getting a little... you start to question what's going on, right? Are people jumping in, seeing some money move and trying to make some big plays, and they're going to, make some big dumps later on when they see they can make a profit? That could be happening, but it's unclear. It's unclear, right? Are all the auctions getting paid for? That's unclear. I just want to make this video to kind of give you some sort of like pump the brakes type mentality. I'm not saying you can't do well. For all I know, I could be dead wrong. Primal Clash could be a $1,500 box in a few months or another year or 2 years. I don't know, right? Maybe Ancient Origins breaks $2,000 a box. Maybe Primal Clash breaks $3,000. Maybe it takes over Flashfire and becomes the top set in the era. I truly don't know, guys. All of my expectations have all now completely been overtaken. Everything is basically performing better than even I thought so. And if you ask around the hobby, I'm kind of known as the more optimistic person in this Pokemon world. I always get kind of take heat or get made fun of for being overly optimistic and too bullish in these markets. And even I now am saying this stuff is moving more than I thought and faster than I thought it would. And that scares me. If the optimistic bullish guy is starting to see things do better than even he anticipated, might be time to hold off on some of your spending dollars and go for some of the things that haven't quite moved yet, some of the things that have been kind of down and beat up. But hey, I'm just here to give you the info, here to let you know what's going on. At the end of the day, you guys got to make your own decisions. Hope you take this info and do with it what you will, and it does serve you well. Other than that, thanks for all the support as always, guys. Subscribe if you're not. Be back here in a new one soon. I'm out.